All right, thank you all for being here. Appreciate you accommodating schedules and switching up to Wednesday. I'd rather do it on Monday as well, but we had the storm come through, so appreciate you all changing your schedule. Thankfully, the storm here wasn't as bad as what was forecasted, but several of our players and some of our conference teams, had to change up theirs. So, thoughts and prayers with everybody that's affected by Irma. So. Going back to Saturday night, seems like a long time ago now, but proud of our guys, how they responded. What a great atmosphere for college football right here in Troy, Alabama at the Vet. We appreciate all the support. Tremendous honor to set the school's all-time attendance record. You think about playing football for over 100 years and to set that attendance record, that's a source of great pride for the staff, our players. So appreciate everybody that was there. The win got us to 1-1. We always celebrate winning here. I think the minute you take winning for granted, it stops happening some. So we want to celebrate that, and we did, and winning's hard to do. So quick recap on the game. I'm going to hit all three phases. Special teams. The negatives first. We had 3 penalties. 2 huge returns got called back. 1 return for a touchdown, and another kickoff return that would have got us inside the 50. And then we missed our only field goal attempt. We want to be able to hit those field goals, especially when we get the ball inside the 25, and we missed that one. The positives are our kickoff cover team was much, much improved. Marcus Jones had a big night. We talked about the 2 returns he got that called back, but he still had several nice ones. I've been waiting for him to break out. Finally did in that second half. He's getting more comfortable there. And then Tyler Sumter continues to do a great job punting. His distance wasn't what it was when we played Boise, but he had 2 that were down inside the 20, so that's a positive. Defensively, negatives, we didn't get any takeaways. We pride ourselves being a takeaway-driven defense. We didn't have any on the night. We had 4 penalties, and then we were 0 for 2 in a short yardage situation where we were really played outstanding defense in short yardage situation against Boise. We didn't do that against Alabama State. The positives is we didn't give up any points. So if we continue not giving up any points on defense, then we'll be pretty tough. Only allowed 165 yards. And really only allowed Alabama State to have 1 explosive play, and that was, I think, deep into the third quarter. So offensively, the negatives are we didn't convert a 4th and short. I was extremely disappointed in that. The pick 6, really wasn't Brandon's fault. We didn't run the route correctly. And then we've got to do a better job running after the catch. And we're getting tackled in way too many one-on-one situations. The positives, we averaged 7.2 yards per rush. We had 600-plus total yards of offense. Didn't allow a sack after having some protection issues in week 1. And we had 11 explosive plays, which when you have that many explosive plays, you got an opportunity to win against anybody. The awards that we given out, we tweeted them. I think we tweeted out yesterday, but most of you saw it. If not, the Corey McCullers Spirit Award, that gives it to the best guy. We take pride in having a lot of energy on our sidelines. The winner in week 1 was B. Hinton, who's a true freshman from McGill-Tulane High School down in Mobile, Alabama, a guy we're excited about. He did a great job on the sideline. Our Nathan Harris Service Award, which we give to the guy on our football team that does the best serving his teammates and serving our community, that goes to Tristan Crowder. Really proud of how he continues to grow and develop. Our Scout Team Awards this week on offense goes to Mason Earls, who's a true freshman from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, a guy that Levi coached when he was a high school coach there at Mount Juliet. On defense, it went to Carlton Marshall, another true freshman from McGill-Tulane. And then special teams, we had 2 guys, Amari Vaughns from right across the street at Charles Henderson, and Abdul McKeeby, who's from Hazel Green, Alabama. Our players of the game on special teams, Jamarius Henderson. We put him on as a starter on our kickoff team. He had 2 tackles, really set up 2 more. Had a huge block on the kickoff return that Marcus had that got called back. Just added a whole nother demeanor to our kickoff team. And so for our first win versus Alabama State, Jamarius Henderson, Special Teams Player of the Week. Defensively, goes to Andre Flakes. I think speaks well to him. His second game ever playing defense at the college level. He comes in, he's our most productive. He graded out the highest of anybody on defense, had a sack, tackle for a loss. On our offensive lineman of the week, graded out at 94%. Had 9 knockdowns, which is impressive. That's J.O. Gaston, bounced back from a subpar performance in week 1. And then offensively, our player of the game was Brandon Silvers, 32 of 40, 345 yards, really only three true incompletions. threw the pick, and then had a few drops mixed in there. So he bounced back. Really an uncharacteristic bad football game against Boise, but he bounced back and played at a high level. So most of the time on Mondays, we're kind of transitioning. We've already transitioned to New Mexico State. Obviously, it's Wednesday. We changed our schedule a little bit. We were altered a little bit. Usually Monday is usually Sunday is our day off, and then we practice on Mondays. Due to school being closed on Monday, we came in, watched the video on Sunday, gave the players completely off on Monday, and then practiced yesterday and had a productive practice yesterday. I thought our guys' mindset is in a good way, ready to make the trip. We'll have another physical practice today. If you look at New Mexico State, I really felt like this at Media Days. In one interview I did at Media Days, I said this. Felt like going into the year they'd be the most improved team in our conference, and they've proved that correctly through the first two games. If you look at them, as a whole, I think it starts with coaching. I mean, if you look at what Doug Martin's done as an offensive football coach throughout his career, it's really been impressive. And then defensively, they made huge strides under their defensive coordinator, Coach Spaziani there. If you look at them, he was the head coach at Boston College, and they had a season where they finished in the top 10 in the country at Boston College. All right, and they also they had one of the best defensive units in the country during that time frame, and so I knew he was going to make them better on defense. It was just a matter of time, and through two games, they've shown that they're getting incredible pressure on defense. I think they had 7 sacks against Arizona State, Pac-12 team. They lose by 6 points. Then they go on the road in New Mexico. New Mexico's got one of the best rushing attacks in the country. I watched that Patriots Kansas City Chiefs game, and the commentators are talking about how the Kansas City Chiefs are mimicking some of the plays that New Mexico runs. Well, they basically go and shut New Mexico down for 3 quarters in that football game. And so against a pass-oriented team against Arizona State, they get 7 sacks. They shut down basically one of the top rushing attacks in the country at New Mexico, and they've got some guys that are flying around and playing. And so much credit to that coaching staff for making that turn. Offensively, we've really struggled stopping them the last 2 years. They've almost given up 1,000 total yards of offense the last 2 years. Tyler Rogers, our quarterback, very similar to Brandon, gets the ball out of his hand fast. I think he threw for 445 yards here, and we were able to come out because he threw some interceptions in the red zone. They've got what I think is probably one of the top receiving core units in our conference, and they've got 2 running backs led by Larry Rose, and I think Larry Rose is special. That are difficult. They really spread you out and able to get vertical in the run game. Special teams, new special teams coordinator. We've been able to take advantage of some things the last 2 years in special teams. I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. As much improved as they are on defense, I think special teams is probably even more improved. They've got a nice, from a schematic standpoint, they're sound. They do some things that cause you difficulties. So we've got our hands full. We've got to travel across the country for the second time in 3 weeks, long plane ride, and go to a difficult place. My assumption is we're gonna see one of the biggest crowds they've ever had there. I know there's a lot of excitement out in Las Cruces for that team right now, so we're looking forward to it. I think it's one thing to win a game at home; it's another to travel on the road, and I think that's a real test of a good football team. So we're gonna find out this Saturday. So with that, questions.
Yeah, you mentioned the travel 2 out of the first 3 weeks. Is that a negative, a positive, and is it a benefit maybe that's early in the year before you guys make it too big?
Well, if we're going to make 2 trips, I'd just assume do it early. It's hard to do it 2 out of 3 weeks. You talk about Boise. We get back, I think 3:45, 4 o'clock is when I went to bed when I got back to my house on after the Boise game. This one being a night game, it's probably going to be in that 6 to 7 in the morning. I think those are tough just because your schedules gets messed up. Now, the 18 to 20-year-olds probably bounce back a little faster than I do now. That hurts me to say that, but that's probably the case. But it is what it is. We can't change it, so it's not going to be an excuse. We're going to go out there. We're going to do a better job of getting our guys prepared to play in a road atmosphere. We didn't perform very well last time we went on the road and got on a plane, and so we've got a point to prove.
You talk about your balance on offense this last game.
Yeah, well, we had good matchups. I guess that's probably the best way to say that. In the game a week ago, I thought we took advantage of that. Really had an emphasis getting our running game going. I think that's going to be key to us. If we want to compete for a conference championship, we got to be able to run the football. We feel like we're talented enough at running back to do that. So I was pleased how we came out and really not only Jamarius and Chun, but also Josh Anderson. I thought he had some productive carries, especially in the second quarter there. So that was a benefit. And then we're able – if you're able to run the ball, that sets up the play action pass, and it sets up some things in the quick game. So we were able to take advantage of that. If you look at it over the last 2 years, we've been almost a 50-50 football team. We'll continue to do that. We've got a much bigger challenge ahead of it this week, though.
Your quote-unquote regular season starts this week, first Sun Belt game. What's the next level you players have to get to, and are they ready to ring the bell and get going?
Well, it's conference time, and today that's what we're going to talk about is our goal when we get back on that plane is to be 1-0 in our conference. And we talked about how successful we were a year ago, but what we didn't do is win that conference championship. And we've got a couple of those Georgia Southern clips where we had an opportunity to clinch the piece of the conference championship, and we did get it done. Those are things that we continually show our team because it's important they understand how close we were, but yet how far away we were also. And so this is the first opportunity for us to play a conference football game since that game at Georgia Southern in December. And I know our guys are excited about it.
As we get ready for the conference, can you reset a bit, seeing what you've seen so far, your impressions of the conference this year?
Well, I think it's really balanced. If you look at it, I think you never really know till you get in the conference because teams within your conference are so much more familiar than the teams out of conference. And probably most teams like us, we spend most of our off-season time really devoted to breaking down our conference opponents, not necessarily our non-conference teams. Really, I think that App State, coming off a conference championship. They're going to be one of the top teams. I've been impressed with Arkansas State just in the one game they played at Nebraska. I thought they went out, and I know they're really, really fast, and I thought they played that way out there. I think you throw the Georgia Southern game out from a week ago. They go up and play in Birmingham, and I think most of that football team and that staff's probably more worried about their families back, because they have a ton of Jacksonville and really East Coast kids over there from Georgia down into Florida. So I can't imagine that they were that's a tough ask to play a football game when a hurricane's bearing down on your family and your friends and your home and your belongings, those type of things. So I think they're going to be a much better football team. But I think our conference continues to get better. Anytime you got good coaching, which our league does, I think you have an opportunity to have good football teams. And the other thing is the support that the administrations in our league have put behind the football programs is starting to show as well.
Have your guys' families come out of the thing, right? All good?
We've got our Cameron Kay, who's from Naples, and his area was probably hit the hardest. He's touched base with all his family. They're good, but that's where I think they got up to 142 miles per hour. So he was probably the guy that we were most worried about from a family perspective. Jamal Statham, who's from Melbourne, Florida, his family was affected as well. And then we got several over in Trayvon Sanders from the Charleston area, and some of the guys we got from kind of southeast Georgia. They're experiencing flooding more than anything. So we've got some concerns, but I think all in all, our guys, I should say, our players came out of it pretty safe and sound.